It has been a week of unimaginable grief here at Iowa State University. The campus and community have looked for answers where there are none and have come together to provide each other comfort as they mourn the death of women's golfer Celia Barquin Arozamena. Today, her life will be remembered and celebrated at this football game between Iowa State and Akron. This is Mid-American Energy Field at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Followill, Brian Baldinger, and Leslie McCaslin join me for the broadcast, but there is no easy way to come on the air today. When the game starts, we will cover college football with the enthusiasm and passion that we do every week. But like everyone here at Iowa State right now, our minds are on Celia Barquin Arozamena. She was a student here at Iowa State, a women's golfer, and she was killed on Monday in a tragic and senseless random act of violence. She exemplified what you want in a student athlete. She came here from Spain in 2014, and on the women's golf team, she won the Big 12 championship last year and was the female athlete of the year at Iowa State for 2017-18. She was studying civil engineering. She was still in school and was on track to receive her degree with honors. She loved Iowa State. Her coaches and teammates and friends at Iowa State loved her. And Brian, today her life will be celebrated and remembered. It is maybe a tiny step on the very long path of healing. It's a unique aspect of life on a college campus in that there is a huge support system to try to help everyone cope with a tragedy of this magnitude.
And Matt Campbell realized this by Tuesday. He brought the whole team together to talk about this disturbing, senseless killing that took place right off the stadium here at the golf course. And today, they hope that some catharsis, some healing can take place by playing this game, honoring the slain golfer, and that they can start to move on.
On behalf of everyone at Fox Sports, we offer our deepest condolences to Celia's friends and family and the Iowa State University community. The game will start in a moment. Leslie McCaslin will tell us how the teams on the field will honor Celia's memory right after this.
Welcome back to Jack Trice Stadium, where everyone will be wearing yellow today in honor of Celia Barquin Arozamena. This is a tragedy that has not only brought everybody on this campus together, but both of these teams as well. Today, Iowa State will wear a decal on the back of their helmet with her initials, and so will Akron, in a show of solidarity. I talked to injured quarterback Kyle Kemps before the game, who was wearing yellow today instead of his uniform as well. He told me that Celia was incredibly talented and that she epitomized what a Cyclone student athlete was all about. Matt Campbell talked about what a difficult process it's been, that there have been a lot of emotions on campus this week, and on Tuesday, they didn't talk about the game at all. He just wanted to help his kids get through it. Mark, both of these teams want to do their part to honor her today.
Iowa State won today's toss. They've deferred their option, so they will kick off and Akron will receive to start the game. Chris Francis has got a strong leg, and it's on display with the opening kickoff that sails past Andre Williams and into the end zone for a touchback and for the... First snap of the game is a running play. Van Edwards hit hard as he comes over the line of scrimmage. Picked up 2. And then a big blast from Greg Eisworth, the lead.
For freshman middle linebacker Mike Rose has really helped solidify a very good defense.
He is second in FBS in tackles per game by a freshman. A throw and a catch, and turning and getting into space is Andre Williams. And Andre Williams on the second play of the game has Akron's first down, taking it all the way over. The Zips 45 to the 46. That's 19 yards. Jonah Morris gave him a good block as well. Quick rollout. And Nelson throws it into the sideline. And a flag has come out here for a late hit.
Yep.
We were here covering the game between Iowa State and Kansas last year and saw DeMonte Ruth deliver a huge block on a punt return by Trevor Ryan. He is a big hitter, but in that particular case, it cost him. Straight up the middle on first down. Nelson Started out, as a matter of fact, on a track scholarship at Missouri before transferring to Akron. So when the ball finds him, look out. But right now, it's just dumped off in the flat. And a big hit for Van Edwards, delivered by Marshall Spears at linebacker, along with Richard Bowens, right at the marker. It looks like enough for a first down inside the Iowa State 29.
Right.
South of I-4, Terry Bowden told us, is their fertile recruiting ground in Florida. And it's an interception. It's a pass that's off target, and it's intercepted by Iowa State, by Braxton Lewis.
Braxton Lewis gets the first interception of the season for Iowa State, and it looked like Andre Williams just stops on the play. Now here he is right here. There's Braxton Lewis, the free safety, and you're going to see in the middle, 19, Andre Williams just stopped, and Lewis comes in for the interception.
That is only the second turnover that the Iowa State defense has forced this year. They also have a fumble recovery in one of their two previous games. Remember that they're short a game because their opener against South Dakota State was postponed, and that was due to inclement weather in central Iowa. The interception stopped Akron's first drive of the game that was moving along quite impressively, benefited from the penalty. For the 16-yard line, Zeb Nolan brings Iowa State's offense on the field, and he finds Deshaunte Jones. Jones caught a career-best 9 passes last week against Oklahoma in the 10-point look. The game that he started last year was a road win against the Baylor Bears. Running to the left side, the first-team All-Big 12 running back David Montgomery, and he waits for a hole to open up, and it does. Brennan Williams with a tackle of the 35, but a first down picked up.
And I think there is right now in this conference.
Montgomery will run the ball again, and he makes one man miss, but then filling the gap defensively is John Lako at linebacker. It's a 2-yard run for Montgomery on
2 pick sixes against Northwestern.
Montgomery over the 40, tripped up and falls out of bounds. 3rd down and 3. We'll see if they call his number again. Nolan looks to throw, zips it outside, and it is short of the first down.
Yeah.
The receiver had to come back for it. He was a yard short. It was caught by Matthew Eaton at the 44, and he was never able to free himself to go over the 45 for the first down.
Well tackled. And then Iowa State, they got to get David Montgomery going, and they've got to repeat that performance of Zeb Nolan from a week ago.
Fake handoff, high throw. On the left side, looking for Nate Stewart. A 52-yard punt by Corey Dunn is why Akron starts this drive at their own 12, and they don't pick any.
Bowden looks on in his 7th season here at Akron. What a storied history he has had coaching, along with his father and his brother Tommy.
He said this week when we spoke to him about the win over Northwestern, to beat a big team carries so much weight to the fans in Ohio. I appreciate it, what it meant to the school. It was very special. Here's Nelson on a scramble. Cato Nelson, first down and more to the 25.
We said that he...
Yard line, 13-yard scramble, brought it out there by Nelson. Nelson has run the ball for 79 yards in 2 games going into today, and it's a bad pass, incomplete behind him. In the stats for Nelson in 2 games, keep in mind Akron's in the same boat that Iowa State is. Akron's opener was also postponed due to bad weather when they traveled to Nebraska. 4-yard run on 2nd down as that went to Andre Williams. Lauren.
And that crowd came alive too.
They did get vocal. Dropping back on 3rd down. Nelson eludes one rush, then running up from behind. He's dropped for a loss. Inye Awazarike, the defensive end from Detroit. Still waiting for the game's first score between 2-0 Akron and 0-2 Iowa State. We've noted both teams have had their opening game canceled because of inclement weather. This was the scene in Ames on the opening Saturday night. Brian, Deshaunte Jones scored an early touchdown. They were looking good in the first quarter against South Dakota State before the bad weather hit.
Well, the lightning hit. They actually started the game. They got a touchdown, and then this lightning bolt started hitting. And they tried to play the game. And then eventually the storm that was in Lincoln came and hit here too, and to really find out what his team was, and I think it affected him the following week against University of Iowa.
Back to throw to start Iowa State's second possession. Batted down pass. Well done on the defensive line by Jamal Davis.
Got right.
The down pass a moment ago by Davis. At left defensive end on the Akron line. Now a quick pass is caught by Tariq Milton. He's hit, the ball pops out. It is picked up by Akron, but it appears it was picked up out of bounds. Let's wait and see, but look who was right there in the vicinity again, Alvin Davis.
Yeah, Alvin Davis, the National Defensive Player of the Year, and they're giving it to Akron right now.
And another turnover with junior Alvin Davis from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Akron threw an interception in this end of the field earlier in the first quarter that stopped a drive where they had pushed it all the way deep into Cyclones territory. Now, an Iowa State fumble is why Akron is at the Cyclones' 26-yard line. Throwing Nelson a little bit low and behind the intended receiver who did have hands on it, but Andre Williams couldn't pull it in for a catch. The last three passes by Nelson have been incomplete. He looks to break that streak. He goes to the end zone. It's Andre Williams rising up to haul it in, and he does. Akron has the first score of the day. The Zips on the road in Ames. This game's decided by one possession.
Turning things around here at Akron.
For the 5-yard line. Tene Nwangu off the Jerry Fitchin kickoff. And special teams giving Iowa State an immediate boost after they surrender a touchdown. A return by Nwangu from Frisco, Texas, all the way past midfield into Akron territory at the 49. Jalen Hooks, the tackle after a 46-yard return.
Well, it's just going to be right up the middle here. And he's going to pick up a couple of good blocks as he does it. And he makes a few people miss as well. And Nwangu, who had 2 carries last week against Oklahoma, he looked like he got the quickness back that he lost last year when he tore his Achilles and missed.
Akron had scored in the aftermath of a turnover. David Montgomery, cutback, another cutback. He's bounced into open space, and another cut. Boy, how about the moves by David Montgomery? He picks up a first down with a run of 13 yards. Buckner is in and was just in motion. And he'll block for Montgomery, who wedges his way into a hole and plunges inside the Zips 35 to the 34 before Brock Boxon is there for a tackle.
Pulling out of the backfield, catching it from Cincinnati. Matt Campbell was recruiting him when he was at Toledo. Convinced him to come to Ames, Iowa, and things have turned around here in large part because of David Montgomery.
Montgomery, a huge part of the 8-5 season and going to a bowl game and winning one last year. Deshaunte Jones caught it. Ulysses Gilbert with the tackle immediately after the catch at the 20 here he had last year. Earlier I mentioned 140 tackles last season. Gilbert also had 3 interceptions, another fumble recovery for a touchdown last year, and 4 sacks. And down goes, Montgomery somehow was able to spin out of that. He was brought down in the backfield, but he fell on the defender, Brian, and never did his knee touch the ground. He spins out of it and has a first down.
He's got tremendous balance here. He's going to get caught from the backside right there by Jamal Davis. And there's the right over the body. Look at that. Try that one in your backyard, rolling over your brother, and stay on your feet.
And now Montgomery bottled up when he went inside, tried to bounce it outside to the left, and is stopped at the line of scrimmage by John Lako. As a defensive end already has a batted down pass to the line of scrimmage in this game. It was about to make a big stop on 3rd down. But Montgomery had other ideas. Montgomery's getting a quick rest right now. Sheldon Croney's in the game on 2nd and 10. Nolan has a wide open receiver, and upended as he dives to the goal line is Hakeem Butler. What's the ruling? Looks like he is into the end zone for an Iowa State touchdown.
Ruling on the field is of a touchdown.
He is so acrobatic. I mean, that was a complete cartwheel in the air. And I said he's like a power forward in basketball. He's going to get flipped here upside down. But he's so long. In fact, Zeb Nolan said he's got the most unbelievable reach. And when you touch the pylon with the ball, that's a touchdown. Look at that hit by Jordan George on the play. And look at how the long, outstretched arms, like the wingspan of a condor, to get that ball in the end zone.
That's a touchdown. The previous play is under review.
Look at, if I was Hakeem Butler, I want a picture of me upside down, stretched out, with my arm touching the pylon.
touchdown stands.
You can write it down as the third touchdown of the year for Hakeem Butler and the 12th of his career at Iowa State.
You're not going to get that smile off Hakeem Butler's face either. He is one happy guy, and he is enjoying himself at Ames, Iowa. He knows the thing about him is he's got great hands. They said in practice he makes some of the most acrobatic, athletic catches that you'll ever see. One-handed.
Connor Asali with the extra point. 7-7 game now in the first quarter. That was a 24-yard touchdown reception for Hakeem Butler. But Brian, he's got 6 catches of 50-plus in his Iowa State career. That was last season at a game that we did in Waco. They won 23-13 against Baylor. And then last week, 2 long ones against the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, we're seeing here how many tackles he breaks as well. I mean, this is Oklahoma. This is a 50-yarder right here. Look at that athletic catch. And then the finish. He can run away from you. He can run over you. He can jump over you. He's Superman.
Popular phrase in football that's developed over the last few years is catch radius.
Yeah.
And Zeb Nolan said he's got the largest catch radius of any wide receiver he's ever seen. And given Lazard's time here at Iowa State and how many times Zeb Nolan must have thrown it to him in practice, that's saying something.
True.
Chris Francis, kickoff. Into the end zone and out. The Akron offense is coming onto the field at a
True Southerner.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Love my gravy down there.
Nelson. Play fake, pass, up top, caught, 50-yard line, and down into Cyclones territory. Rising high, 9 yards. And there is an impressive play on first down, as Leslie was just speaking of, giving up ground on this run to the outside as Van Edwards and not able to get back to the line of scrimmage, loss of a yard.
That Morris was going to go get it.
Jonah Morris with his 8th catch of the season. We just saw Van Edwards run the ball and he lost a yard. Now it's another long pass play here, and they're looking for Quadarius Smith, and the defender had inside position and is able to break it up. We talked about the tackling ability of Greg Eisworth. Now we see the pass play ability, the coverage ability of Greg Eisworth. Line penalty. Should note going into the game that Akron has the most penalty yards per game at FBS early this season, 106 a game. Nelson in trouble, flush from the pocket, and down he goes. Jamal Johnson got there first. There was a little bit of help at the end of the play as well. Spencer Benton came in. Matt Leo came in. But it was really Jamal Johnson who broke down the pocket, Brian.
Well, you're going to get this blitz up the middle, too. He kind of collapses the pocket so that Jamal Johnson comes, and then they finish him off. But they like to blitz that middle linebacker. Add that tough schedule to start the season for Iowa State.
First 6 opponents all went to a bowl game last year. Montgomery, there's a hole. Still on his feet. Down goes Montgomery, shy of the first down by a couple of yards, but it's another very typical David Montgomery run, Brian, that involves cutting and moving and also breaking tackles.
Well, that's what he's best at. He's got tremendous balance, and he's got strong legs. And never look how low he gets here. Breaks the tackle of Alvin Davis and comes out of that. You have got to grab him and wrap him up. But if you don't get...
The run by Montgomery a moment ago went for 8 yards. Low snap. Nolan picks it up, trying to make something out of this. He zips it to Matt Eaton. Matthew Eaton was hit hard. And a yard's picked up, but they needed 2.
A lot of games to improve upon.
Again, another pass to the sideline. Looked like Milton might have stepped out of bounds, but there is going to be, at least initially, several yards picked up with a run after the catch up to the 44.
Well, they're lined up to play and no whistle.
Well, you can't look at it now. Montgomery tried to jump over Sam Sainbuckner as fullback at the line of scrimmage and hit hard by Jamal Davis, who's been involved in a lot of plays.
Sure has.
The opening quarter at Ames. It's 7-7 Akron and Iowa State on Fox College Football.
State later today.
Allen Baldwin and Texas Tech defeated Houston last week, 63-49. Zeb Nolan, 8 of 9 today. How about 9 out of 10?
Wow.
Big hit delivered after it was caught by Tariq Milton. Darian Daly. He came in on the...
I like both these corners for Akron. That Kyron Brown on the other side is a good player.
They're down at 8. Low throw for Sheldon Croney, incomplete. 3rd and 8. Turns to 4th and 8, and a punting situation for the Cyclones. Defend with Akron at their own 10. Incomplete pass for the running back out of the backfield, Van Edwards. Driving up the middle on 2nd down. And Ritz, who Brian was just speaking of, a senior from Willoughby, Ohio. Nelson floats it. It's caught, but short of the 1st down.
That's Ellsworth right there on the tackle.
Hello.
Yeah, and here he comes. I mean, he reads the play from deep in the middle of the field. He's going to come up and great tackle right there. Avoids the block and then is able to take down Traylor Bennett there on 3rd down and stop that drive. Leading tackler on this Iowa State team.
Tackles in 2 games. Flag down on the snap. Nick Gasser's punt. Tariq Milton catches, bumped into 1 man, bounced to the outside. There's space. There are blockers. Milton still going. Remember, there was a marker down at the start of the play. Now there's another one down coming in at the end of the play. It's a great.
Welcome back to Jack Trice Stadium. Game tied at 7 as quarterback Zeb Nolan and Iowa State takes the field again on offense. Well, Zeb and his dad have a very close relationship. Not only was his dad his high school football coach, he was also a quarterback in his day at Appalachian State. And they are still very tight. Zeb talks to him, he said, after every practice. He said his dad always can't wait to hear how things are going. He said, I ask him too how practice is going because that's my old team. But he said his dad has been very supportive and helpful during this process, guys.
And Zeb Nolan is on the field with the Iowa State offense. The penalty during the return moved them back to the Akron 32-yard line. Nolan putting up good numbers at quarterback today, but here he's just handing the ball off to David Montgomery and a loss.
Another play by Jamal Davis.
Play clock a factor now. Zeb Nolan throwing, open sideline, caught immediately down after it was hauled in officially at the 14-yard line of Akron by Matthew Eaton.
That's a big throw. Right between Eaton found it.
And they throw that direction again, looking for Matthew Eaton, and it's right through his hands at the 10. That went for 21 yards, and all on the day, Matthew Eaton at 4 catches, 28 yards.
Here comes the Butler.
And it is Butler turning in the back corner of the end zone. 2 defenders were there. They all got tangled up with Alvin Davis and with Darian Daly. It's a 7-7 game. They defend a 3rd and 10. Iowa State at the Zips 14. Caught, and they keep David Montgomery well shy of the 1st down. Brian Bell, who is forced to fumble today with a wrap up at the 10. To give Iowa State a lead for the first time today, and they do, on the Connor Asali field goal with 10:45 left in the 2nd quarter.
I mean, it's a century, and it's basically a century since that has happened.
Running play, Van Edwards turning it up the field, barely back to the line of scrimmage, which is the 35.
Long, and so this week, Akron has been flying that flag proudly on their campus.
Another running play, but it's the quarterback keeping it. It is Cato Nelson making a move and diving forward to the 44. He gained 9. It will be 3rd and 1. And look, 3rd and 1. Up into this Van Edwards, but it's enough for the 1st down. Kickoff went out of bounds, so the drive started at the 35. They moved 11 yards. They're looking to move a whole lot more than 11 yards here. Incomplete for Jonah Morris.
Great coverage by Brian Peavy, the right corner on that play.
Even tackles as a freshman.
Yep.
He was 2nd team all Big 12 last year. Brian noted the fact that he leads all active players in FBS in career passes defended. The number 37. Back to the run. And nowhere to go. And ground given up, as a matter of fact, in the ground game for Van Edwards Jr. 1 and 12 is the play that Akron is facing. Lima, just a plug in that defensive line at 302 pounds, comes off the field as Nelson is back and flushed. Now he'll run across the field.
Wow, he picks up a block on the outside.
He does pick up a block on the outside, has the 1st down, has a lot more, steps out of bounds. And Willie Harvey, who's a fine linebacker on the Iowa State defense, spying and just could not get there. Midway through the quarter. Akron down by 3. But a drive that is moving into field goal range, perhaps. Short run by Nelson before being blasted by Lawrence White. Including a 22-yard run by the quarterback a moment ago. Now to the outside. Deltron Sands and another hard hit tackle by Lawrence White. That third down was just picked up when Akron needed 12 yards to make them 3 for 6 today on third downs. They fake the fly sweep, and Nelson tried to run out of a tackle in the backfield but couldn't. Jaquan Bailey, he is the one who was in the backfield and disrupted the play.
Here he is right here in the circle, and he's not influenced at all by the fake. He stays on his man, Cato Nelson, the whole time.
From Liberty Township, Ohio, Nick Gasser, whose longest field goal this year is 37. He's 4 for 6, but the misses have been from 39 and 48. He'll try here from 45, and he tied the game.
Well, guys, remember, Iowa State does not have an offensive coordinator, but let me tell you, they have an extra coach, an injured quarterback, Kyle Kemp. He is constantly in the huddles talking to quarterback Zeb Nolan every time he comes off the field, and to Hakeem Butler as well. He's with the wide receivers a lot, and the three of those guys throughout the game during big times have all huddled up together, the last time before Hakeem's big touchdown and just now before they took the field. So I would expect Butler to get even more involved as this game goes on.
Well, again, remember the story of Kyle Kemp and his odyssey of multiple transfers and finally landing at Iowa State as Nolan throws the ball. And Deshaunte Jones has a block in front of him from Landon Akers and has yardage out to the 39 for a first down.
That Kyle Kemp is from that legendary program in Ohio, Massillon, Ohio. He went to Oregon State and Hutchinson Community College, and he's a 6th year. He got a 6th year granted to him this year because of all those transfers. Coaches were changing jobs, and so just happened to get hurt in that opening game against Iowa.
Motion for Deshaunte Jones, who just caught the pass, 39-yard line. They'll go to Jones again. Hakeem Butler trying to block. Just too many white shirts. They keep him a little bit shy, a yard short of a first down. It is a 9-yard pick. Road game in Norman. 2 top 5 wins last year for Iowa State. The first one was when Kemp played against Oklahoma, and then they beat TCU.
And it was his first start in Norman, Oklahoma, knocking off the Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield and the Sooner team.
David Montgomery bounces off another tackle.
Jeez.
Takes 4 or 5 players to bring him down to the 38-yard line of Akron.
It takes a on that play, Alvin Davis.
Running again, Montgomery. Not even back to the line of scrimmage this time, though.
Of course.
2 zips in 1950.
Terry Bowden trying to put the zips back on the map on in his 7th year here.
Longest tenure for Terry Bowden in any of his coaching stops now. Second down and long. Oh, and Nolan has it swatted back. And Devontae Jest, defensive lineman, was diving, hoping maybe he'd be able to come away with an interception. But Jamal Davis, boxing from New Galilee, Pennsylvania, a senior. Batted down pass, second one of the game for the Akron defensive line. Iowa State 2 for 5 on third down. Sam Seambuckner, the fullback in the flat, stiff arm. Well, he picked up some important yardage, not enough for the first down. But in theory, if a field goal is what Matt Campbell is thinking here, it's been made easier. Just not sure that's what he's thinking.
I think he...
It is Iowa State's only touchdown, that catch by Butler from 24 yards out. Well, after going 2 for 3 on 4th downs last week, Iowa State with a 4th and 5. Pressure coming up the middle. A throw and a catch. And it is a first down, and it is Hakeem Butler.
Wow, he's just going to run just an inside seam route.
It was a brave throw, too, by Zeb Nolan. There were Akron pass rushers who certainly had a beat on him, and he stood in the pocket, and he delivered that pass to Nolan, which converted a 4th down. And now it allows David Montgomery to slip away from a tackle, cut to the outside. He's got the longest run of the year for Iowa State, and it almost put him in the end zone. It's got them on the doorstep with 1:39 left in the half.
Well, what a cut. What a cut by Montgomery here to the outside. And then this he made 2 guys. We call it the deep freeze. You freeze them and then you beat them. He did it to 2 guys on that play.
They race up to the line quickly to snap it on first down and goal to go. And running behind the block of Sam Steenbuckner is David Montgomery, and he's hit and spins and can't reach the end zone. Second and goal to the 1. Montgomery, another go, and this time he leaps and tries to go over, and another big hit delivered by the...
Matt Campbell believes in here.
Montgomery, and this time he'll plunge into the end zone. They stayed with it, and it produces results. A touchdown for Iowa State, and they open up a lead in the final minute of the first half.
Sometimes you don't have to overcoach, Mark. You just give it to your best player. Even if they stop him twice, you still give it to their best player, and that's what David Montgomery is. This middle is going to open up. Nice lead block that time by Colin Olson on the middle linebacker, Bell, clearing away from Montgomery.
Matt Campbell told us yesterday the running game needs to be more north and south this week. And it took 3 tries, 1 from the 2, 1 from the 1, and then another one from the 1, but they got enough north and south push, Brian, to open up space for Montgomery to wedge his way into the end zone for a touchdown.
And they hand it off.
And down goes Van Edwards. Well, we speak from experience of seeing that. Last week, our broadcast was in Manhattan, Kansas, and we saw Kansas State and UTSA, and it was 20-7 Kansas State. And then UT are playing well, Akron, but Iowa State has been able to rise to the occasion on an emotional day here in Ames. They lead it 17-10, the Cyclones do, and Leslie is with their head coach, Matt Campbell.
Thanks, Mark. Well, I know you guys wanted to get David Montgomery going. What did you guys figure out on that last drive?
Well, I just think, you know, it's one of those games where you just got to be patient, you know, continue to run the football. I think our line's continuing to get into a groove, and David had a great drive by David.
3 penalties and a fumble, uncharacteristic of your teams. How do you get things back on track?
Well, I think that last drive certainly will help us, but we're, you know, those things that are holding us back from getting where we want to go showed up in the first half, and we got to continue to create change.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
David Montgomery has certainly been a workhorse today. Iowa State has 16 rushes. They've all been by David Montgomery, including this touchdown that put him up right before the half. 17-10, Iowa State in Ames over Akron.
Offensively here, and they get an opportunity here to start this third quarter as Montgomery gets it.
No, it's Johnny Lang. Oh, they crossed everybody up after Montgomery toted all of the load in the first half. They go to Johnny Lang.
Just a true freshman, a smaller guy, only 5'8". Hard to see him back there. Hard to see him from up here in the booth.
He just ran for 13 yards, though. He's from East High School in Salt Lake City, Utah. Spin and a run again for Johnny Lang. The second
side of the line, Julian Good-Jones, the left tackle, with a good block.
Well, this could be a real tipping point in the game for Iowa State, because remember, they had the ball at the end of the first half, scored with 30 seconds left in the first half on the short run by Montgomery, and then because they deferred their option, they received the ball to start the second half. A throw to Hakeem Butler. It is hard to overthrow him, but Zeb Nolan just did that barely. Sheldon Croney at running back. He was in at running back on the previous snap as well. Johnny Lang carried the ball on the first 2 plays of the half for Iowa State, so we haven't seen Montgomery yet on the field. We see an underneath check down throw to Deshaunte Jones, catches, but he's well short of the first down by 5 yards.
Well, interesting.
Looked like they were going to toss it to Van Edwards, and racing up the middle is Nelson. Nelson picks up 7. Pitch back to the tailback. Running play, Edwards. And Edwards is met in space by Lawrence White. Well done on the tackle by White, Brian. And the Zips have a 3rd and 3. And there is a problem before they can snap it on 3rd and 3.
You know, Akron did not have a penalty in that first half. This looks like it's going to go against them.
Miscue. Nelson to throw and got it out of there, and it's on the money. It's caught by Nate Stewart. First down.
Sustain the drive.
And remember, after a penalty, it had gone from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8. Akron's first official penalty today. Backing up, throwing Nelson, and he goes again to Stewart. Stewart curled back and caught it at the 50, and then he's wrestled down by DeAndre Payne, a senior.
that part of Philadelphia, part of Pennsylvania.
They caught 4 passes this year going into today. He has 2 catches today, and they do go to the outside with a running play trying to get it to the speedster Quadarius Smith. He doesn't produce anything, but there's a penalty flag down on the tackle. Now 4 for 45 for the Cyclones. At the Iowa State 36, Nelson bumped in the backfield. Will pull it down, will run the ball, and pick up a little bit. 3, maybe 4.
You know, Iowa State.
They need 7 on this second down. Van Edwards, this is the best run of the day for Van Edwards. He's hit, and that forced him out. Lawrence White in on another tackle on this drive. Pick up a 5. Meanwhile, Cato Nelson from Hollywood, Florida, Flanagan High School. He has been the tip of the spear when it comes to the Akron offense today. He's initiated just about everything that's been successful. In this case, though, he'll give the ball to Van Edwards, and Van Edwards is able to push forward for the 2 yards they need in the first down.
Yeah.
Good block by the redshirt freshman, Hunter Korn. Ball to the Iowa State 25. Edwards running again. Bounced off a tackle. Then drilled from behind by Enye Owazarike. Lawrence White also. Tron Sands, who's in the backfield. They fake a handoff to him, and the slant is batted away. It hit Marcel Spears in the hands. Hit him in the hands. It's knocked down and incomplete, bringing up 3rd down.
Boy, he was.
Well, Brian, Akron in danger here.
Yeah.
They've almost penalized themselves out of field goal range.
Right on the border.
They need some yards if they want to try for 3. Deflected pass. Wobbles out of there. Sliding and trying to catch it. It's incomplete for Andre Williams. He's season-long 45 today. He has missed this year on a 48-yard try. Gasser's 49-yarder is away. It has the leg and is good. Matt Campbell at home and leading 17-13 after a drive by the Akron Zips. Produced 3 points. They've had 2. He's in the backfield behind Sam Seenbuckner, and Tariq Milton just went into motion. Good pocket for Zeb Nolan down the field and caught. The grab is made by Landon Akers, and it's into Akron territory.
Landon Akers, guy that we haven't talked anything about today, but that was a great throw. Good protection up front. Good offensive line work right here. Nolan stays in that pocket, really kind of hitches a few times, and then Akers does a good job of screening the defender and putting him on his back.
From Washington High School in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Landon Akers. Big pass play that went for 26 yards. Dow running play. And a running play that doesn't produce anything for. After the 26-yard pass play, though, Montgomery loses a couple on 1st down. Iowa State just kicked Akron just kicked a 49-yard field goal. That brought them to within 4. Looks like this running play is going to go for 4 yards, maybe 5. Here Brian speaking up. Brock Purdy from Gilbert, Arizona. Here comes pressure. Nolan is able to escape it. He throws it, is caught by Tariq Milton, but then Milton is swallowed up by Brian Bell, who's been a very solid contributor on the Akron defense today.
Well, the first thing that Nolan had to do was escape quick pressure. Coming right off the left side.
What is now known as FCS. More on that in a moment as Nelson has the ball knocked out. Dropping back to pass. Nelson had the ball knocked out by Jaquan Bailey, and Akron and Nelson fortunate to jump back on top of it. They lose yardage, but they keep the ball.
Covered by the offense.
Well, Jaquan Bailey's going to come right around the corner. Here he is, right to the backside of Cato Nelson. Reaches with that big left hand. He gets the ball out. He was going deep down the field that time. They were lucky to fall on it this deep in their own territory. Nelson gets
8 yards. A play made by Jaquan Bailey. Now Nelson immediately running the ball, and he ran out of a tackle, and he tiptoes down the sideline. Greg Eisworth doesn't miss very many tackles in space. The safety did there, and that allowed Nelson to pick up some more yardage.
Well, he picked up a big
11 yards on the run. 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Nelson all day on 3rd and 7. The pass is caught, but Eisworth doesn't miss that tackle of Jonah Morris.
Nope. This one the play before, but this one, he's right on it.
And kept him short of...
He said he was the smart bout. He was a good student.
Johnny Lang at running back. Lang carries, hit by Brian Bell after a gain of a yard or two. So Brian, he obviously learned a lot at Oxford. But
we knew all the positions, you know, including lining that field.
Probably didn't have to do that at Auburn.
No.
But it helps to know.
Look at this.
Deshaunte Jones nowhere to go.
Game tackling right there by Akron. I think that Akron right now is getting more and more confident. And that's what Terry Bowden said. He said that's...
Deshaunte Jones. And now Zeb Noland and the Cyclones have seen the clock go under. 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter and facing 3rd and long. Noland underneath, bobble, caught, Sheldon Croney, and still picks up the first down. The bobble didn't throw him off track because he had a lot of space to run the ball down to the Zips 41.
Well, that's just an underneath throw right here. Just a check down. Croney coming out, running a little Texas route on 3rd down. A lot of room underneath.
Ulysses Gilbert finally made the tackle. A lot of room over the middle. Caught by Akeem Butler. Can he be brought down? Eventually, yes, but not before. Another big chunk. That's his second 24-yard reception today.
Well, there he is in the middle of the field. And it's not perfect, but remember, Zeb Noland said he's got an unbelievable catch radius, and that's where that comes in. Reaching all the way back to snag that ball. He said sometimes his hands are too big. The ball can get lost in there. I put my palm up next to his, and he's got an extra digit above mine. He said he could palm a helmet.
Had a 24-yard touchdown reception earlier today. That was a 24-yard pass play down to the 17. Now Kene Nwangu is in running the ball, and Alvin Davis, the hero of last week's win, with a tackle for loss of 2 yards.
There's another guy that...
Montgomery didn't play on the first drive of the half. He did play on the second drive, but has not seen any action on this 3rd drive of the 3rd quarter, and a 3rd quarter that's just about done for the Cyclones. To throw, Nolan. And Deshaunte Jones is drilled in the back by Alvin Davis on that incompletion.
Tell you, for a guy that's 5'9", 175 pounds, he packs a wallop. He crossed the middle. Wow.
That hurts.
That hurts. Yes. Ooh, right in the tailbone. Alvin Davis living up to the billing of last week's National Defensive Player of the Week.
2 pick sixes. 3rd and 12. Another underneath throw. Space for Johnny Lang. Lang is still on his feet, but down he goes. Broke 1 tackle, but there was enough swarming to the football, which Akron has done a lot in the 3rd quarter.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
The 3rd quarter ends with Iowa State leading Akron by 4 and facing 4th and 5 when we start the 4th quarter after this in Ames. In Ames today, the game started with a moving tribute and a celebration of life of Celia Barquin Arozamena, the student, the women's golfer at Iowa State, killed in a tragic and senseless random act of violence earlier this week. Iowa State and Akron have put on an entertaining affair this afternoon before another crowd of 50,000 plus at Jack Trice Stadium, the 47th game in a row. Iowa State wants their first win of the season. Akron trying to go to 3-0 for the first time since 1983. You just saw Connor Asali start the 4th quarter, booting through a 29-yard field goal. Iowa State 20, Akron 13. Boy, A.J. Milwee, by the way, is such an interesting story. He played at North Alabama, and then Terry Bowden came in as the coach, was a grad assistant, and was the offensive coordinator at Akron here when he was 26 years old. Now in his 7th season at Akron, and he dials up a deep shot for Quadarius Smith, and that just hasn't been there today to get the...
Just had to throw it to an open patch of grass. He couldn't quite get it there.
And Brian Peavy, not an easy corner to beat. One of the best in the business when you're looking at corners in the Big 12. A position where you better have a short memory. with all the passes that are thrown. This is a running play, though, out wide to Van Edwards. And Van Edwards picks up 7. Quan Bailey, Jamal Johnson, Inye Wazarike, and it's off the hands of Michael Traylor Bennett. A shallow cross that was maybe a fraction short of the first down where he was going to catch the ball and would have had to figure it out on his own from there.
Well, that's Eisworth that's in coverage this time. And it's just a little bit off. I don't think he would have gotten the first down even if it was completed.
Iowa State 20, Akron 13. We play early in the fourth quarter at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. It's time now for the Saltgrass Steakhouse game summary.
Well, Iowa State has been held to 89 yards of total offense here in the second half, and that's a big part of this story. Only 3 points to show for those 89 yards. At well over 200 at the half. So Akron playing much better defense here in the second half.
David Montgomery has alternated series on offense for Iowa State in the second half. He played on the second series of the second half. Now he appears on the 4th series. And he races to the outside, turns the corner, goes upfield, has a first down. Took it out wide and finally is able to charge upfield into Akron territory, gaining 11.
Well, this time he's just going to take this ball around the corner here. Picks up good blocks from the wide receivers and the fullback on that play, Sam Steenbuckner, and just follows his blocks on the outside.
Montgomery again. He ran for 79 yards in the first half, and he squeezes forward for 4 more after an 11-yard pickup on the previous play.
Well, just a freshman, along with Julian Good-Jones, number 51. He was the starting center against Iowa week 1. They thought he was a better choice at left tackle, and he is. He's a good pass blocker out there at left tackle, so they feel like they've got their 5 best offensive linemen on the field these last couple weeks.
Montgomery again. He bumps into Sam Steenbuckner in the backfield and does well just to reach back to the line of scrimmage a couple of occasions. This is 3rd down. And some heat on that throw to Hakeem Butler. He's forced backward, but his forward progress is enough.
It's just a hard guy to tackle.
Just ask Ulysses Gilbert, who tried to do it.
Yeah. Just quite a target. Here he is, just going to run to the sticks here. He just pushes the guy out of the way. I think that's Jordan George, the safety, just pushed him out of the way. They can't tackle him to the ground. He's just too strong.
Hakeem Butler, 4 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown today.
Iowa State kind of slowing the tempo down, taking time off the clock.
Any score gives them a 2-score advantage as Nolan now will go up top. And Darian Daly on coverage, and the flag comes out. They were looking for Matthew Eaton. There was bumping pretty clearly. There was contact, Brian.
But there was also grabbing by Darian Daly that time, too. Matt Eaton, you got to plead your case. If you're Darian Daly, sure. You got to plead your case out there as well. How about this? Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy is coming
freshman is now in the game. Odd time in the middle of a drive to make the switch. This is his first snap as a Cyclone.
From Gilbert, Arizona, as a senior, he threw for 4,400 yards and 57 touchdowns. He also ran for 1,000 yards and 10 more scores. And his first snap from center is a turn and handoff. Johnny Lang runs the ball, gains 3. John Lako the tackle. Brock Purdy, Gilbert, Arizona, and now on the field in the 4th quarter of a game in Ames, Iowa.
Well, he was the Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year last year. He is fleet of foot. He can really pull the ball down and run. He gives you a dual option. And so Matt Campbell said that he would play today. I didn't know that they would make the switch in the middle of a drive.
That is unique, isn't it? And in the middle of a drive in the 4th quarter,
yeah, when
getting points are at a premium because of the 2-score lead that you could have if you do come away with points. Kene Nwangu is in the backfield. They almost handed off to him. Jamal Davis was all over it, and Brock Purdy kept that from being a potential disaster.
And now here comes Zeb Nolan back on the field. So it was strictly to give him a change of pace look at the quarterback position in this read option right here. The keeper by Purdy was snuffed out real quick by a bunch of zips.
Now 3rd and long with 10 minutes left. Sun-splashed late summer day in Ames. Feels like fall. Was 57 at kickoff. To the end zone. Back shoulder fade. Off target, incomplete for Deshaunte Jones.
Well, I never gave
Connor Asali 2 for 2 today on field goals. 5 for 5 on the year. They can open up a 10-point lead with just under 10 minutes to play if Asali is able to knock this one through from 33 yards out. From Naperville, Illinois, is a 23-13 lead. 9:50 left. That's what stands between Iowa State and their first win of 2018. From their own 25. Nelson throwing to the sideline and caught.
That's Quadarius Smith, his first catch of the day.
Yes, it is.
Wide receiver.
Came into the game with a career number of 998 receiving yards, so he goes over 1,000 with that on his 48th career catch in his time at Akron. Did a running play after the 13-yard pitching catch to Quadarius Smith.
They have a pipeline to that South Florida area.
And their number 2 running back, Deltron Sands, is in the game right now. Is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. There's a pass play to Nate Stewart. Now, Stewart is from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. There have been some moments today where he's had some very pretty throws on target. He's also been off target at times. But this one is on target but not caught by Nate Stewart, who just caught it a moment ago. And Lawrence White had him lined up.
Yeah, he did, right in the periscope.
Mike Rose was coming after the passer. He was picked up. Pass play to Jonah Morris. Morris steps out of bounds. 38 of Iowa State. Akron ball. Down 10. Cyclones 38. 3rd down 5.
Plenty of protection.
Now Jamal Johnson comes after him. Nelson throws back across his body. Was looking for Smith, and Eisworth with a hand on it, and then it hangs up in the air for the Cyclones to come after it. No interception, 4th and 5.
And they're going else. It feels like he's got all day. He's scanning the field, but now the rush starts to get there. Now everybody's, that's always a dangerous throw, across your body into the middle of the field. Great effort by Eisworth, tipping that ball up in the air, and then Lewis going for it. That's the type of effort that you love to see from John Haycock's defense.
Remember that before the bad punt, looked like Gasser was maybe thinking about running it in a fake, but no fake punt here. They're going to play field position, but they can't keep it out of the end zone. Oh, they had a man down there.
Better off just catching that punt. I agree with the call. I mean, they're down 2 scores. There's only 7.5 minutes to go. I think they needed to take a shot there.
Ball went into the end zone for a touchback. Kenny Nwangu is running the ball, looking for a crease to open up.
You could hear from the microphones down the field, get the ball out. That's what Akron's going to try to do here. That is discipline and a product of good coaching.
Run at 5 by Nwangu. Oh, and a big hit of Montgomery in the backfield. Now he fought out of it and got valuable yardage in terms of getting it back to the line of scrimmage after Jamal Davis hit him.
Jamal.
3 different running backs have lined up on the backfield on this drive. Now Iowa State has Sheldon Croney in the game. 3rd and 5. Akron's got to get a stop and get the ball back. And Nolan is throwing. And he goes to Akeem Butler. And Butler ran just far enough on the route to pick up the first down as he made the catch.
And he used all of that reach that we have been talking about this day to win the route. Just on the outside here. Watch the reach against George. Really stretching out for that ball. Wow, that is a catch radius. About as big as you can get, and that you'll see in college football.
Butler came into the day averaging 26 yards a reception this year. A more typical 14 yards a catch is where he is today, but he's got a chance for around 14, maybe a little bit more than that. Push forward after he caught it, and it officially will go for 17 up to the 48.
Well, just an inside cut route that time by Butler. They're starting to feed him here a little bit. An RPO on that play, a run-pass option where the line is blocking the run, and Nolan reads the opening in that zone and gets it to Butler.
And 2 critical completions to Butler. One on 3rd and 5, and then another one to give them more room to operate and bring it all the way up to midfield. Now there's a flag down.
Number 11, defense.
Devontae Jest, as we now will take a look at the Quicken Loans, the right play of the game. It involves Hakeem Butler in the first half, Brian.
Oh, and just a fantastic effort. Getting flipped upside down right here and getting that ball to the pylon for the first touchdown of the day for the Cyclones.
And now he is at 6 catches, 88 yards. After the catch a moment ago, an Akron penalty has moved the ball into Zips territory. Montgomery hurdles over a tackler at the line of scrimmage and has a first down.
That's a cut. That's a David Montgomery cut that we're used to seeing. Right behind the right guard, Kniffel there. Little hop in the step there. Alvin Davis brings him down. But there it is. Montgomery having his best day of the season.
It is his 9th career 100-yard rushing effort as he sits on 107 now on 23 carries. Game management is what it's all about now for Iowa State. Clock management specifically. Sheldon Croney takes on a defender. How about the tough run inside by Sheldon Croney?
Last week, and it's improved today.
Nolan, and he does well to bring that ball back in because he had it out getting ready to throw as the rush was coming, Brian.
Well, it's dangerous. The ball was away from his body as Akron really penetrated Devontae Jest there.
Akron has 2 timeouts left. The 3rd and long is specifically 9 yards needed. Nolan underneath, Croney looked away, bobbled it, still caught it. Oh, and then it squirts out at the end. It's still loose, and Devontae Jest tries to jump on it. I think he's got it. Looks like Jest who has it. 2 plays what they have. To throw Nelson. Knocked down. Threw it into a lot of Cardinal jerseys in the center of the field, and it's swatted down to the turf by Marcel Spears Jr. On 2nd down. Nelson throwing and trying to make a one-handed grab and pull it in as Andre Williams, but incomplete.
Nelson.
In the overall analysis, you would say it hasn't been a sharp day throwing the ball for Cato Nelson. 11 for 26 now.
Yeah. He had an open receiver in the middle of the field.
2:23 left, 3rd down. Nelson waiting for something to open up. And that's low for Andre Williams. 4th and 10 coming up. This is the first time that an opponent has had a 4th down snap against Iowa State's defense this year. Can Akron convert it? They cannot! Jaquan Bailey got there, and also hanging on to him down low was Orion Vance. 4th down sack. Iowa State has the ball back.
Just a 3-man rush, but the coverage down the field made Cato Nelson hold the ball.
And Iowa State's defense picks up the offense after the turnover. Bailey and Vance with a sack on 4th down. Cyclones fall up by 10 late in the game. That sack was on 4th down, and Iowa State takes over on downs at the 23 of Akron. Johnny Lang running it. Akron has 2 timeouts. Let's take a look at the upcoming road schedule brought to you by Logan's Roadhouse. We made notes.
That's what he's going to preach, that they can beat any of those teams on that schedule, but they've got to execute better than they have.
Running the ball again is Lang. By the way, with his sacks today, Jaquan Bailey from Jacksonville, Florida, has gone into the top 10 in Iowa State history in sack. Play clock still at 10 seconds. And Iowa State taking as much time as possible as they wind down towards their first win of the season. Some window dressing on the score here. Connor Asali is into the game. Field goal attempts coming up, 37 yards.
Been perfect on the day.
And on the year, for that matter. 6 for 6 on field goals. And Sally trying to make it 7 for 7, and he does. He has 4 field goals today. Butler and Montgomery have scored touchdowns, and certainly